Hey guys, welcome back to Grand Central Watch. I'm so excited that today we're on our first road trip, and what better spot to pick than the iconic Gotham Bar and Grill. It's run by chef and partner Alfred Portale. He is an iconic individual in his own right. This man has paved the way for some of the most iconic chefs that we know today. Wiley Dufresne, Tom Colicchio, as well as many others. This restaurant owns almost every award in the book. It has a Michelin star since 2005. It has 3 James Beard Awards. It was written up in Esquire in their Restaurant Hall of Fame. New York Times gave this restaurant 3 stars 5 different times. There's not a restaurant in New York that can say that. So I can't wait to go in so we can meet the legend, Mr. Portale himself, talk watches, talk food, and let's see what's ticking in Gotham Bar and Grill. Talking food and watchmaking.
Sure.
A
lot of parallels.
Big time.
I think so.
I see a lot of similarities. The way that I break it down is when I see the food, I see the art and the science coming together, and the watchmaking, I see the art with the science and engineering that makes that. But when you look at it, you know, the art or the science, which really influences you in the kitchen?
Well, there's the art of it, the creative part, designing the dishes, the science, more like maybe understanding how certain flavors go together, working with textures and different tastes, and how to stimulate the palate on the plate, temperature, things like that. But you have to be able to produce 30 of these dishes, particular dishes, exactly the same, on time, cooked perfectly,
right,
every night. A lot of science that goes into understanding how to produce things so that they can be the same every single time.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I've been to a restaurant and I walked out and I said, that was an amazing meal. I can't wait to go back. And I go back and it's not the same.
Yeah.
The meal is different. How do you keep consistency like that?
To answer that, I'll go back 35 years. I was cooking in France at 2 Michelin 3-star restaurants. There were about 38 cooks in the kitchen serving 50 customers.
Wow.
Sometimes we had 4 cooks working on 2 plates.
That's unbelievable.
So I was so blown away by that. And when I got back to the States, I wanted to do that type of food.
Right.
I said to myself, how am I going to satisfy my creative desire and produce food like I did in France, but for a high volume of customers?
Right.
So I've always thought about that and consistency, and it goes into every design of each dish.
In my industry, they come to the counter, they say, my watch is off 10 seconds a day. I've had 3 seconds a day. My watch is fast, my watch is slow, my watch is not on time. There's not a cooking show I haven't watched where the word time isn't used over and over again. You're out of time, we need more time, there's almost no time left.
Exactly.
How do you manage that?
Well,
is that one of the biggest headaches for you in a kitchen?
It's a very high pressure environment in a kitchen like this,
right,
where you're, it's busy. The food is difficult to produce. It's very labor intensive. It's not tweezer food as they call it, but it's very high touch presentations and a lot of last minute finishing. It's a very high pressure environment. So training, experience, staying cool under pressure, all
right,
play into it.
Sure.
And a real love of what you do.
Somebody was asking you about working at one of these 3-star Michelin restaurants, and a VIP would come in, and everybody would drop everything and more butter and more truffle and make the dish beautiful. And your comment was, why do we do that just for the VIPs? Why isn't it for everybody, every customer? And I think if you have that mentality in what you want to do, it's why the guy that saves up 2 paychecks to come eat here is going to have the same experience as the guy that can come here for lunch 3 or 4 times a week.
Yes. Going back 30 years, the only place you could get that type of education was to go work in a restaurant in France.
Right.
Today, you can work in restaurants in New York, Chicago, LA. They're excellent, excellent restaurants. But back then, that wasn't the case.
Sure.
So everybody wanted to do a stage, they call it, or a stay in a Michelin 3-star restaurant. What I learned in one of the restaurants was it was, in fact, not a democratic door policy or in the kitchen. When VIPs came in, we would fuss over them, gild the lily, put truffles on, and so on. Why can't we do that for everybody?
Right.
Including in the front of the house. I mean, yes, when you have a guest who comes once a week, you recognize their name and maybe they have a favorite table, but everybody who comes into the restaurant should be treated equally.
Yeah, and have that perfect meal.
I got back 35 years ago, the idea of having, no pretension in the room, no attitude at the door, a democratic door policy, reservation policy, treating everyone equally was revolutionary.
Yes.
Now, it's kind of the model for any successful restaurant in the country.
Right.
But back then, the waiter, you'd go to Le Cirque or a restaurant like that, and they'd turn your nose up at you.
And,
sure. If you mispronounced Chateau Margaux on the wine list.
You were out.
You were out.
So we got to talk watches a little bit.
Good.
Because, our audience is here not just for the food. So tell me a little bit about your passion. You said you were designing jewelry. Did that ever lead into watches? Because those two industries are similar.
Yeah, I first became interested in watches as a young boy. And my dad bought, you'll know this watch. I think it was made by Boulevard. I think they called it an Accutron.
That's right.
And it was supposedly accurate. At least I believed that it was accurate to within like a
seconds a month.
Yes,
that's what they claim.
And
yes.
I was fascinated with that. So that was my first interest in watches. My first good watch came when I started working here.
Which was?
Well, I started in 1985. I started in March. So later that year, we were reviewed by the New York Times.
Right.
Brian Miller. And he gave us 3 stars.
Yeah.
At the time, I was the youngest 3-star chef in the city. 3 stars was reserved for Vitesse, Le Côte Basque, Le Bon Oui, all those fancy restaurants.
Sure.
So my partners were overjoyed. So they gave me it was a Cartier tank. Part gold, part stainless. Very elegant watch, beautiful watch.
Right. And where does that watch live today?
Well,
are you wearing it? Is a family member wearing it?
I have 2 daughters. And the first one that graduated college, I gave her the watch.
Nice.
And she wears it proudly.
That's awesome.
3 years later, we were reviewed again. Again, we got 3 stars. By the way, we've had 5 3-star reviews.
Has any other restaurant ever had it in Manhattan?
Not that we know of.
No. Yeah.
So I was given another watch. This one was an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak.
Nice.
Which I have.
Okay, let's see.
Nice
pouch.
Isn't it great? It's amazing. I wasn't wearing it because, the styles with watches change.
Sure.
Today, men are wearing a much larger face. But look at that. This was small.
Right.
So it was my wedding anniversary a couple of weeks ago. And I brought the watch to you. You made it look like new, and you sized it for my wife, and I gave it to her as an anniversary present. And she hasn't taken it off, except for today.
Yes.
She hasn't taken it off since. So
well, this is the perfect size.
I had a Rolex, Air King, an old one that I bought at a flea market, I think, like a flea market. Took it to Rolex, and I, had it worked on, and I wore it for years. It was a great little watch.
Right.
And then when my second daughter graduated from college, I took the watch to you. See, the thing with the watch was the dial was worn.
Yes.
And I took it to Rolex. I took it to a number of places. It turned into this huge thing where they had to take the watch apart and do this and do that. It was going to cost thousands of dollars. So I brought it to you. You didn't know me at the time.
Nope. I think that was our first meeting.
But I got a phone call from you like
Yes.
a couple of days later. I'm like, yeah, because I know who you are. You're a chef. So, and that was the start of a friendship and,
Yes.
a relationship. Of course, now I bring all my watches there,
Yes.
and you know, it's
Right.
for me, it's the best service
Thank you.
in the city, without a doubt.
Thank you. So when we share another watch, you're wearing something that I personally own.
Yeah, the Miligas.
The Milgas. Yes.
Yeah.
You have a lot of magnetism in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Maybe that chocolate machine where you're hand making the chocolate.
I know.
Which,
I know. Yeah, no, it's a great watch. See, I wear my watches to work, and this is a big watch, so it tends to, you know, I tend to bang it a lot.
Sure.
But at least I've learned to take it off when I'm working, or
Right. Do you work with the watch or
in the kitchen. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And here, like this, another one. Again, I'll wear this in the kitchen. It's a pretty valuable watch.
Yes.
This was a gift to myself. Patek Philippe.
Okay. Famous
Nautilus.
Patek Philippe. It's a lot of bests. It's nice to see that your collection is actually represented probably with top 3 here out of the maybe 5 watch companies in the world.
Yeah.
So you told me something very cool when we were in the back. You make your own chocolate here.
Yes. Something else we're very proud of. We sell chocolate bars, and we also make different flavored bonbons. And they're always seasonally flavored. Hop online or give us a call at the restaurant, and we'll ship it right out to you.
Right. I mean, what better thing than homemade chocolate especially for the holidays, for a gift or something.
Exactly, and yeah, especially for the holidays.
You know, you're doing this 30 plus years. I could tell you from experience, I've been going into my shop for 29 years. You've reached all the success in the world. What keeps driving you?
Well, you know, it's the same thing that's probably driving you. You know, it's because we love what we do.
Right.
We want it to be excellent every day. We got to, in order for that to happen, you know, we got to be there. You have to be there, and you have to put in the time. Really, the restaurant has become such an institution that I'm proud of that.
Yes.
I'm proud of it, and I want to protect it. It's very precious and very rare.
I think it's a really special thing, you know, and I hope you keep going because I'm excited to come back, always eat here, know I'm going to have that ultimate experience. So, and I hope that people watching, if they've never been here, that they make a special trip to come to New York, 12th Street.
Yes, Gotham Bar and Grill.
Gotham Bar and Grill, and if my friend is here, say hello. And this was a real honor.
Thank
and
you.
a real pleasure.
I really enjoyed this.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you so much, and can't wait to see your next broken watch.